I'm Jaynee from Messages from Heaven by Jaynee, messagesfromheavenbyjaynee.net on the web, just for my website where some of my artwork is, and I have reviews of my readings, and spiritsbyjaynee@gmail.com. Today I wanted to continue with loving yourself. And one of the things that is important for us as the queens or the kings of our own bodies, of ourselves entirely, is that we like ourselves. We can love ourselves and appreciate how we are, what we do, but it's really important to like ourselves, to like our personalities, our characters, what we do. Um, One of the important things in that is how we treat other people. Usually that has a lot to do with whether we like ourselves or not. I know that when I was dealing with very toxic neighbors, um, I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I was doing. I really felt out of control and upset about how my life was going. And I was unhappy. One of the things that would have helped would be to, number one, avoid those kind of people. And the minute that they started talking, turn around and walk away. I know if you're working, it's difficult, but what I used to do that did work when I worked in an office was I would literally turn around and walk the other way when I saw one of those people. Once I realized that um, some people, just want to create trouble and want to make you feel upset. It's not common, but it exists and it feels terrible. Um, so I understood how they were, and I just turned around. Um, I mean, I think every office has its own family, and that means that some people are going to be obnoxious, some people are going to want to start trouble, some people are going to be really nice, other people are going to be nice to your face and then be nasty behind your back. Whatever you say is going to be turned around and repeated. It's not easy. And give yourself a break when you're dealing with that. Understand that it is a difficult situation and you may have to just shut up and not feed into it. It's hard. And none of us is perfect. None of us has all good traits. Um, I find now, and at 77, that I think I'm on the spectrum. Whatever that means. I know what it means on autism. I know that I miss the cues uh, that maybe the room or the group of people. Um, I just missed it. Somebody just said something about. Yeah, I forgot. Yes, every office has its own drug addict. Boy, yeah, that's true. Um, and if they can function and work, well, it depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I worked with a boss who used to ride his motorcycle in, who literally came in, no shirt on, a uh, leather jacket, a black leather jacket, and a not a hood, a cap, metal thing to protect his head. Um, he smelled bad. Uh, you know, and he was obnoxious. He was one of these people who wanted to be hanging over your shoulder every minute and criticizing you for how you were working. And like I said, he smelled. I think he put on a shirt when he came into work, but I don't think it was closed. I don't know. He was really disgusting um, in many ways. He didn't go around talking about people because he didn't otherwise talk, other than criticizing everything you did, every kind of work that you did. But he was nasty. No one wanted to work with him. What else? Boy, there were some. You're right. Yeah, there were some really weird. There's a young, not young. There was a woman who must have had she had something missing. I thought I had everything, but she at that time. Now I realize. Okay, no, I don't. Um, but she would stop talking to people. She stopped talking to me for months. I never knew why. All of a sudden, and she would be friendly and then not friendly. And she asked me. I did a painting for her. She told me exactly what color she wanted because she wanted to match something in her house. Um, and for a long time, I talked to her. I don't remember if we were on the same, I think sometimes we were on the same mass transit bus. Um, Very obviously weird, you know, and yet sometimes she was very nice. She came to see me at one point when my back went out and I couldn't go to work. Um, but at the same, like I said, you know, she was not all there. Um, Someone who sat right, well, there were cubicles. Somebody who sat right behind me committed suicide. And before that, she came back from the psychiatric hospital, and the boss moved her to that woman who had something missing, which was about the worst thing that you could do. I'll never understand why he would do that, but he did. And did it contribute to her committing suicide and her little kids finding her? I don't know. But if I were that woman who wasn't all there, I would forever feel guilty and upset. I would never want to have done something that might have caused someone else to commit suicide. And I guess maybe that's what I'm talking about too. In in order to like ourselves, I think most times we need to see ourselves as nice people, people who care for other people. We're not miserable to them because we don't like ourselves. Usually, at some point, we'll not like ourselves. And that's important. Who the hell cares how the other person, I mean, we're not really worried about the other person. We're really worried about ourselves. Um, I don't want to say other people are not important. Yeah, they are, especially your family and hopefully your mother, father. Um, Maybe they aren't, but how you treat people really does come home to how you feel about yourself. Check it out. You may not have noticed it yet, or you might. It's definitely something that you like it not to be important, but it is. Um, you know, it's our choice how we treat ourselves. Um, it's hard to say how we act is our choice. Sometimes it's not. I mean, sometimes we're so moved by whatever the other person has done that it isn't our choice. And when it gets to that point, I don't know what to say. I guess try to talk to somebody because it doesn't feel good to be that way. It feels terrible, in fact. Um, it really does. I remember feeling that way, feeling like, like I just wasn't in control. And um, I could not treat somebody civilly, let alone decently. And I would not want to be in that space again. I think really that's it. I mean, I could probably keep on telling stories about. I think I had the worst supervisors who ever existed, so I could tell you stories. But um, I don't want to keep you. I want to be able to talk and then not keep you because you're not going to stay. Um, I hope that for all my Indian viewers, everything is good. Really, I know I was hearing the news yesterday that there was really terrible stuff going on in Kashmir, I think, and there were guerrilla troops uh, or guerrillas, and I don't mean the kind that are like, they were attacking Indian people. There's no excuse for that stuff, and I understand the military having to go after them. It's just not okay. I try to talk to people, and I know people in the United States. We have a very big problem because the person who was elected um, is crazy and revengeful and mentally ill. So, in addition to being old, uh, someone was released. One of the student from Columbia who had been threatening Jewish students, that wasn't even mentioned. Just that he was spouting anti-Semitic crap. Um, Trump ordered him to be sent to Louisiana, to a jail in Louisiana, and they're very bad in Louisiana. Um, it's not a state. If you were going to come to visit the United States, and don't right now, you don't want to. They're picking people up off the street and sending them without question to El Salvador and Louisiana. It's really bad right now. So this young man came back, and people were celebrating, and I said, yes, it's good that he had no reason to be thrown into jail, and um, what he was doing without being tried and without a judge saying he should go to this prison, it's wrong. It's illegal. However, he and other students demonstrating for um, Palestinians are making life impossible for the Jewish students. Jewish students are not over, they're not Israeli. They're not over there in the IDF, that's the Israeli um, armed forces. Um, we, Jews don't have we don't have a say in what Israel says or does. And in addition, what do you do when terrorists dig tunnels under children's schools and playgrounds and hospitals? How do you deal with that? What do you do? These are terrorists. What they did was typical of terrorists to come in and rape and kill and um, mutilate children. These are not normal people. These are horrible things. Anyway, so I feel for what's going on in both Israel and in, I can't believe it. I just went like, what country? And I keep saying Korea, and it's not Korea. That's horrible. Oh my God. Sometimes I am old, and sometimes my brain just goes, boop, 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 boop. Wait a minute. I'm trying to say something, and it's coming out like that. Oh my God. Um, Kashmir in India. Thank you. Woo. Okay. So, anyway, if you make a lot of mistakes in this life, you can come back in the next and fix it up. If you don't want to come back in the next to fix it now. Okay? All right. Love to you all. Take care. I hope I see you again. I hope this goes off. There it goes.